Home massage is a great piece to implement into some of your training. It's obviously no direct replacement for a professional massage with a professional, but like by implementing some of this a few times a week into your training, it'll be a big help in trying to keep you injury free and hopefully not need to be in the professional medical office as often. So we're just going to cover a few things here. Some of the best tools, keep it simple. I like to have a foam roller. I like the more hard, the firm ones. They have some that are of varying densities, but then a lacrosse ball or a tennis ball is also a good piece to have for some of those areas that are a bit more inflamed. For everyone, it's going to be a little bit different what your problem areas are. For me, I work a lot of my left calf and my hips. Like those seem to be where I accrue a lot of tightness, but some people carry a lot of tightness in their quads naturally. Hips are pretty common with distance runners, so I would like to say that calves, quads, and hips are kind of, if you're going to choose some, like that's what you should really focus on. And so different tools obviously better for different things. The foam roller is great to work on your calves, or some things like the lacrosse ball or the tennis ball would be better for your hips and your hip flexors and your glute medius, those sorts of things. So a few of the techniques that can be helpful, like I'm going to demonstrate on my calf here, but obviously this applies to any area that you have problems with. So if for some reason, let's say that I have tightness in my soleus, which is like the deep muscle in your calf, and it's just in a knot, and it's really, I'm not getting anywhere with the foam roller, and it just seems to really still be an annoyance. Sometimes I will really put a lot of pressure with my thumbs, or you could do this with a lacrosse ball or anything. Put the pressure in there and just hold that, and then flex the muscle. And so this is called active release, and it can be really painful when you first do it. You'll be cringing a little bit, but if you can just force yourself to do a few reps of that without actually moving the massage tool any, it will really quickly, typically, it will really quickly cause that muscle to sort of relax a bit, and then you can actually do a bit more work with your hands, with another tool or something like that. The technique that's useful is just to not even move your hands or the tool around much, and just kind of let your body and your muscles relax around it. So a good example of that is if you're going to be rolling your hips on a ball. So the lacrosse ball is pretty intense for a lot of people to start with, so either starting with a tennis ball, or you can put a pillow down and then put the lacrosse ball on top of the pillow, which will de-intensify it a bit. But if you just laying on this is going to be pretty intense for a lot of people. And so if that's the case, just not trying to move around and just lay here for 5 minutes or so at a time, and just really try to focus on your hip relaxing. And sometimes it may take a few days of just doing this and not actually rolling per se before you can actually make any progress. But eventually your hips will loosen up to the point where you can actually kind of, dig around on that ball a bit more, which is just great for every part of your hip.